Uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, humans, hippies, earthlings, however you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Bushka, and today's video is about update 2.7 and the brand new assault rifle, which is quite a rare treat. We don't get a whole hell of a lot of assault rifles in the game. They're primary slot weapons, and they're kind of few and far between. And this one, the Ace 32, is certainly an interesting collection of bits and bobs. It's another 7.62 AR, and it's a real-life AR that belongs to, I believe it's made by an Israeli weapons manufacturer, and it's kind of interesting the way it sits in game. It borrows a lot from the Honey Badger and the M762 and a little bit from the M416, but it's not the gun that I thought it was going to be. It's been around in PUBG PC for quite some time. Before we go any further, I will be putting all the stats in just a little bit later. I'm going to give you the base damage, the headshot damage, the limb damage, the bullet speed, the time to kill. But I want to go through my experiences with the weapon first and give you a little bit of an indicator on whether it will suit your playstyle or not, okay? For a lot of people, the primary slot weapon is a movement weapon. They want to run an M416 in slot number 2, and that means slot number 1 has to be a weapon like a UMP or a DBS, where being ADS doesn't really mean everything. This gun performs very, very well when ADS'd. In terms of hip fire, it can be slightly erratic. It's a little bit better for my money than the barrel, but like the barrel, it suffers from excessive vertical recoil, like the Honey Badger for that matter. But its recoil is a lot more like the Honey Badgers than the barrels, because while it is quite steep and it goes north very, very quickly, it doesn't have the side to side that can make spraying with the barrel a little bit more of a tough time. Now, I ran it with a red dot mostly, primarily. Red dot and aim assist. And if I had to spray a long range, I would crouch or prone. And that works a treat, because if you don't crouch or prone, your recoil is quite simply massive. It's not hard to deal with, don't get me wrong, but it's not its strength. Its strength really is that mid-range ADS. It does it very, very well. It's extraordinarily like the barrel in that. And I ran it so often in the last 2 days because I just wanted to see what it felt like, and I wanted to give it a real opportunity. And it performed very, very well. It performed admirably. Is it better in CQC than, say, a SCAR-L or an M416? Well, certainly. I absolutely believe it is. Is it better than an AKM? I don't think it is. But it's, again, a different gun to the barrel and the AKM. Let me show you this. This is the full 30 rounds. And then we're going to have a look at an M416 in the same position with the full 30 rounds. And you'll see this is where the Ace 32 finished on its full 30 rounds, and the M416 finished at the top of the head on the dummy. So if you're not crouching or proning with this gun, and you try and spray at range, any kind of range, it's not going to do very, very well. If you're crouched, look at how easy the recoil is to control, okay? It's not difficult to control. It's so much like the barrel in that for me. People are going to bypass this weapon because they just have to run the M4 as their spray weapon. And this, if it doesn't spray, then they're just not that interested. And for me, that's very short-sighted. I prefer to run a bolt action. I don't really enjoy that meta with the UMP and the M416. I think it's really boring, and it contributes more than anything to the passivity of the game. But be that as it may, me being on my high horse, does this have a place in the meta, and is it good? Yeah, looks like an AKM, plays like a barrel, okay? Let's have a look at the numbers, because they will absolutely inform you as to why that is the case. Now the stats, 45 chest damage, 103.5 to the head, and 20.2. They're just ever so slightly less than the barrel M762. Where it gains in the barrel is in that bullet speed. 750 meters a second is about 60 meters a second, 55 meters a second faster than the Beryl M762. But 0.282 seconds time to clear a level 2 vest, that's exactly the same as the Beryl. The rate of fire is 638. You might know that number, 638 rounds per minute, because that's the rate of fire of the M416 and the Beryl M762. You can see it's not hard to control with an ADS and a spray. It's that lovely kind of, you can feel the recoil. One of the problems I have with the Honey Badger is that the recoil just hits so hard on the animation kick on the first round that I never really get to get the recoil back down when I'm doing sprays at any kind of range. With the Ace32, it feels way more like a Beryl, where it just pops a little bit, pops a little bit, pops a little bit, and you can get a nice consistent drag down on the ground. It's quite easy to do. That 750 meters a second bullet speed as well is every bit as valuable as it sounds. The reason that you're able to do those red dot sprays is that you have the same bullet speed as an AKM. And that's fast for a 7.62 AR. That's the fastest of any of the 7.62 ARs. I think the Graza is about 7.14. The Beryl is about 6.97. So that's a good 8% more than the M7.62. That you pay for that with a tiny little bit of difference. One interesting fact about the chest damage, I tried it in rooms. I tested it in rooms and it kept coming up as 45 flat as a damage. I then looked at, look at this. Look at the control on that. That is not hard, right? That's not bad. I then tried it in game, in the training room and on the dummies, and it kept coming up as 44. One of the things that PUBG Mobile often does is it'll be 44.9, but it won't round up to 44.9 to 45. It'll constantly stay at 44 because it's like absolute numbers. So 44 is what it is until it becomes 45. In game, the damage stats may actually just vary a bit. But either way, when I did the numbers, they didn't affect the time to kill or anything like that. I don't love the iron sights on it. The iron sights are very reminiscent of the FAMAS, and those are not iron sights that I love. In terms of iron sights, I'd much prefer the Beryls or the AKMs. The AKM obviously being the king of the iron sights. It does sound pretty cool when you got a suppressor on it. It's great in that mid-range ADS. CQC, it still works, but a lot like the Beryl, it's not everything you thought it could be in close range CQC. It can sometimes go awry. When it hits, it hits. If I had to surmise this weapon and give you a breakdown on its strengths and weaknesses, I would say mid-range strength, long-range weakness, and CQC solid. Whereas if I was looking at, say, an AKM, I would say mid-range solid, long-range weak, close-range excellent. And the reason being, obviously, because the AKM has even more base damage. So base damage, when you can do massive 47.9 round damage to chests and your headshots are 110, you're just doing more damage. And your rate of fire, while it is ever so slightly less, doesn't really matter when your base limb damage is 32.4. So you're doing 20.2 with the 20.1 with the Ace32, and AK is going to do 32.4. That's 11.3 more damage. That's 50% more limb damage with an AK, and that's why the AK is so good in CQC. That is what you want to be doing with this gun, and you saw the AK brutalized me there because you have to ADS with this thing if you want to hit all your shots. Overall, fine gun, something I would run. If I picked this up on a hot drop, I'd run it the whole game. I'd be fine with that. I'm one of the few people that I see running a Beryl anyway. Nearly everybody else is running UMP DBS with an M416, which I think I understand that it's effective, but if you're not trying different things and having fun, why bother? You know, like, just give it a shot. You'll enjoy the Ace32. It's an absolutely crackerjack weapon that I think is a good addition to the game. And despite its rarity, well worth pursuing. I'm Bushka. Thanks for liking the videos. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. Please remember to share and let everyone else know about these lovely bits of content. And until next time, stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.